First of all, probably can't tell as bad on camera, but this is probably the worst my skin has ever been in its entire life, and I don't know what happened. Don't know what that's about, but I'm waiting for my tea to steep in the bath. You guys already know what the hell's going on. My screen time has been out of this planet. Astronomical. I am also really looking busted. I'm gonna be looking busted. Social media detox cleanse. Skin detox cleanse. And I never spent that much time on Instagram before, but I think it's because I deleted TikTok that then I just started scrolling on Instagram. So this week I decided that I am actually putting myself on Instagram ban. I think Instagram's like probably one of the last social medias that I like really scroll on. It's bad, but anyway, I deleted Instagram off my phone. This week my goal is like 0 scrolling time, like cold turkey, 0 scrolling time. Every single time I have the urge to scroll, I'm gonna read my book. Yesterday, I didn't vlog it, but I finished reading my book, which was Happiness for Beginners by Catherine Center. I gave that book a 4 stars. I book journaled it. I loved it so much. It's about this woman. She's 32 years old. Her name's Helen. She, after a divorce, ends up deciding to go on this 3-week intense hiking trip. Turns out that her little brother's best friend Jake, who's 10 years younger than her, he's 22. He is also going on the hiking trip, and he has kind of had a thing for Helen for his whole life, pretty much. Like, and obviously Helen like had no idea. The only thing I'll say about this book is that the main character Helen, she was probably my least favorite part about this book. She was just so unlikable to me. This woman's 32 years. You're grown. Why was she acting less mature than the 22-year-old man on this trip? The secondhand embarrassment that I would get. There's this thing that happens where they end up kissing the night before the hiking trip. He ends up like backing out of it. After she has said like, no, like I don't want to do it, I don't want to do it. The second that he backs off of it, she's just like, what? And like her pride gets hurt. And then she insists that they don't talk to each other and he pretends that they're strangers on this trip. What? That is so beyond insane behavior to me. Honestly, besides that, I actually love this story because Jake, first of all, is so the female gaze. Catherine Center knew what the hell she was doing. He was just like so charming, and I was like, give him to me. The 10-year age gap thing was actually so much of like a non-issue. Emotional maturity wise, they were like on the same level, or he was like more mature than her. I really liked the message about love in this book, which is that whether you end up together, that's less important than just letting yourself have the experience of like being loved. Sometimes like that's the lesson in itself. There's this one moment where she's just like, I feel like I should say something that could like change this whole situation, but she doesn't say anything and they just walk away. And it was very like, oh, like that hollow feeling of like walking away from someone who you know could be someone special, but you walk away anyway. I wish that it had actually just like left like that. It didn't. Like he ended up coming back. It was like more of a classic romance story, but just like that moment for itself, I was like, 4 stars. It was very giving Caroline Forbes, Klaus Michelson at the bar saying goodbye in the originals. By the way, I've been watching the originals. I have a theory that you're either a Vampire Diaries girl or an originals girl, but you're not both. I like the Vampire Diaries. Like I never finished it. I like it and I rewatched it a lot, but I love the originals. Anyway, I think it's because the Vampire Diaries is like very much like the main drama in it is like romance drama, whereas I feel like in the originals the main drama is like family drama between siblings, and I feel like that I can relate to more. And he says, I will always protect you. Oh my god, it literally rewired my brain. I'm making my tea in this strawberry jam jar. So anyway, after reading Happiness for Beginners, I discovered that Catherine Center actually has another book called What You Wish For, and it's about the brother Duncan. I was shocked about it because I'm like, I feel like Duncan is very like not for the female gaze like from the first book. It's about our main character. She's a girl named Sam. She's a librarian at a school. This school is like this, like they're so tight-knit, especially with the principal who like founded the school. At the beginning of the book, the principal ends up passing away very suddenly, and then the replacement principal who comes is Duncan. Turns out that Sam actually worked at the school that Duncan used to work at, and she had like a big ginormous crush on him. When he comes to the new school as the new principal, he's like so different. He used to be like so goofy and charming and silly, and that's why she fell in love with him. But he comes and he's like this buttoned up like three-piece suit, like no smiles. The school has to be perfect, and she's like, what? Like what happened? I DNF'd it. I stopped reading it. Honestly, I feel like if you didn't read Happiness for Beginners, so you don't know who Duncan Carpenter is, you would actually hate him in this book. There was also like no chemistry between him and the main character. I just wasn't feeling it, so I ended up switching books, and it's The Pink Marine by Greg Cope White. It's a pretty well-known memoir, but the reason that I know about it is because I recently watched Boots on Netflix. It's the one about the boy who like goes to Marine boot camp, and I didn't know that it was actually based on this memoir. It's like 8 episodes, which is perfect for me because I'm like not good at watching huge TV shows. That show is about a boy named Cameron Cope who's based off of this man, Greg Cope White. It's like in the 1990s or maybe earlier than that, where he ends up joining Marine boot camp with his friend through the buddy system, and he like doesn't know what he's signing up for. Also, he's gay before Don't Tell, Don't Ask, or Don't Ask, Don't Tell era, so like you could be like dishonorably discharged for like homosexual activity, which I've always wondered, like how would anyone even verify that? Like when you sign up as a recruit, the recruiter just goes like, oh, have you ever had any homosexual thoughts? Have you ever like had any homosexual behavior? Like, do you condone this? You just need to say like no. If anyone accuses you of anything, like you literally just deny unless someone like catches you in the act of something. So you see him go through the 13 weeks of boot camp on Paris Island. It made me go down this deep rabbit hole about Marines and like the Navy and like the Navy SEALs on YouTube last night, and that's how I figured out that Pete Scobell, Walker Scobell's father, aka Percy Jackson's father, he used to be a Navy SEAL Team 6 operator, which is so crazy. I actually wanted to see how much of the memoir the TV show like followed. So the main characters like names are like different, and also like the title, the show and the book are different. I was like, oh, maybe it's one of the ones where it's like very loosely like inspired by the circumstances of his life, but it's like not gonna be like truly like a memoir. But it actually is. When I was watching the show, I was like, oh, like this stuff, like they probably added it in like a Summer I Turned Pretty situation where they like added like different representation of characters. You know, if you're gonna make a story in like 2025, like you might as well take advantage of it being remade. For example, the main character's best friend Ray, he is half Asian, and I thought for sure that that part would have been like made up. There's a name change, but his best friend's name is Dale, and he's half Japanese, and I was like, oh, what are the chances? What are the odds? Because Ray was like one of the main reasons why I really liked the TV show, like that there was like an Asian person there. Bars in hell. So yeah, I want to finish this. Back from my little hike. Also, my hands were like freezing to death. This is the book that I was reading along the way. Walking in the forest with my head down reading like this made me feel like a phone addict, but I promise it's a book. After I finish reading this, unless I like really love it and like want to have a copy or like I annotate it or something, I'll probably return it back to that library because I'm really not trying to like have more books, like more physical books. But tomorrow on my walk, I will take a book back, put it in the library. This is Homo Deus or Homo Deus, A Brief History of Tomorrow by Yuval Noah Harari. If you recognize this author or like this cover, it's because they also wrote Homo Sapiens. That's that like really popular book that pretty much chronicles all of humankind history. This one is the next book. I'm just at 31 pages. So much of what I've been thinking about recently has to do with like the future. I feel like everyone is like so fixated on figuring out what's gonna happen in the future because of like AI and stuff like that. So it's definitely been something that's been on my mind a lot, and a lot of like what I listen to podcasts about, which that's what this feels like. Reading this feels like listening to the podcast that I listen to. Ever since learning about AI 2027 and longevity escape velocity, Google those if you don't know what they are, because I don't want to explain it because I'm not trying to fearmonger on my channel. But ever since that, I feel like I had so many questions about like where humanity is going and like what the future is gonna look like, and that's exactly what this book is about. It literally says war is obsolete, famine is disappearing, death is just a technical problem, what does our future hold? This author is like so talented, I feel like, at like writing history and facts in a way where it's like narrative and it feels like addicting to read. It talks about the human condition as like the driving factor for why these things have happened. I'm only like this much of the way through, but we've already talked about the main three problems that persisted in human civilization for the majority of history were war, famine, and the plague. But like this day and age, the 21st century, those three things are like pretty much obsolete now. Not completely, obviously, but it's something that we can like fight against, whereas like in the past, this was something that was like just accepted and it was like the main cause of like human mortality, and it just isn't anymore. What is going to replace those three things at the top of the human agenda? And this book is saying that it's going to be immortality, happiness, and divinity. Pretty much how to live forever, how to have eternal earthly happiness, and how to upgrade humans into God. Isn't that crazy? I feel like it's so original from like other non-fictions, because I feel like this author has really hit the nail about the fact that humans will always choose power time and time again. We've like opted for like economic prosperity and like expanding territories and stuff like that over trying to save our natural environment, and how even when we have managed to like attain these like levels of incredible power because of human ambition, it just breeds more craving for power. Anyway, that was a fun little surprise. Also gonna say, like I said, I deleted Instagram, but I feel like I've again found alternative ways to just like rot on my phone. Going onto Facebook Marketplace. Now it's gone from phone addiction to like retail therapy. Honestly, I do think a lot of my screen time is because of Google Maps. I can't raw dog navigation. Literally like before GPS and stuff like that was invented, survival of the fittest. I wasn't fit. But I also do the Squirtle, which is like Boggle, probably eats up a lot of my time also. Because I think on my screen time, like Safari was like one of the biggest things that was eating up my screen time. And it's like, what could you possibly be doing on Safari? I do search things up a lot, especially if I'm watching something. I will just like search up everything about that show and like the actors and like their entire filmography. I'll figure out everything about like every actor who just catches my attention. This, the Pink Marine, and it's literally because I've been so obsessed with listening to podcasts and then watching the originals. Yes, he talks about being in the military, but I honestly really love when he talks about like flashbacks to his life back home, because it's not just that he was a gay man in the military keeping it a secret. He was a gay man in like the 1990s, like 1980s, like keeping it a secret. It's just so interesting to see how life was probably so different, especially with like online dating and stuff like that. Like where could you even go to like explore, have secret little experiences and stuff? He literally had to like secretly go out to like these gay bars. He was also Mormon. I think I mentioned this earlier, but I was like, oh, like if you're gay in the military, like how different could it really be? Because it's not like people can like really see something when they look at you. Would you not need like proof of something? And if you just like deny unless you're like caught in the act. But reading it more, his main like anxiety, I feel like, is not even from like the things that people are saying, which like of course the amount of homophobia that is from these like drill instructors is like crazy. If you are sensitive to slurs, don't read this book. You can see in his head that he gets stressed out about like making sure that he doesn't like respond too sensitively to it. The giveaway is not what you think it is. The giveaway is like how hard you try to hide what you think the giveaway is. Definitely it's like one of those situations, and Dale was like the only person that he ever came out to, and he was saying how like Dale never saw him any differently, and I wonder if that's because Dale also knows what it feels like to be an outsider. I know you probably can't tell from what you can see in the window, but I decided to come drive to the beach. I can just hear the roar of the wave. You might be thinking, why are you at the beach when it's literally November? Happy November, by the way. And to that I say, mind your business, because I'm one of the people who can just stare at like waves forever. I'm pretty sure science shows that it can like change your brainwave or something. I don't know if that's true. I brought my journal, so I'm gonna journal a little bit. So I've been having a lot of thoughts rolling around in my head, literally keeping me up at night. Also, please, if anyone knows what to do about this, can you see? So that's why my glasses on. It just like feels weird, and it feels like something's like really heavy on my eye. I kind of think it might be because of like allergies. Seasonal allergies in fall. Can someone tell me if that's a thing? I feel like it's a thing because I've been sneezing so much, and like I'll randomly start crying when I'm outside, and it's been like this for like over a week now. Hopefully it's not permanent. Hopefully I don't watch this back in like 5 years and my eyes still messed up looking like this, looking like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Let me run my new entry. Literally my last entry that I wrote is called Fear of Misery. This is the physical book that I brought with me. Still making my way through this. In this book. No investigation of our divine future can ignore our own animal past or our relations with other animals, because the relationship between humans and animals is the best model we have for future relations between superhumans and humans. Crazy. This is like such a unique book. Like it's so super like self-aware, also talking about how making predictions about the future and like speaking out loud in itself can change the trajectory of the future, because humans, we can choose to change our actions. And so it's like this weird paradox of like, yeah, if you predict the future, then your prediction won't come true. I'm not gonna lie, I think I'm freezing to death a little bit.